The powers of the judicial branch. The judicial branch really has just one main power, and that power is known as judicial review. As you can see from the cartoon on your screen, this power involves the Supreme Court reviewing or looking over the actions of Congress in the Capitol or the President in the White House and deciding whether or not laws or actions agree with the Constitution. If the court decides that the laws or actions do not agree with the Constitution, they are declared unconstitutional. Well, what does that mean? That means that those laws or actions are no longer in effect. They don't count anymore. So if a law is found unconstitutional, it will no longer be enforced. It's like it never existed. Now, this power, although really important to the court system, was not given to the court explicitly in the Constitution. The court had to claim this power in a very famous case called Marbury versus Madison. And in that case, Chief Justice John Marshall quoted, and you can see it to your right, "It is emphatically the province and duty of the judicial department to say what the law is." In other words, why would you have a judicial branch unless you wanted it to declare what the law meant and whether the laws were constitutional or not constitutional? So the main power of the judicial branch is that of judicial review, and it's how it impacts our government the most.
Process by which cases are argued before the United States Supreme Court. A term of the Supreme Court begins by statute on the first Monday in October. Usually court sessions continue until late June or early July. The term is divided between sittings when the justices hear cases and deliver opinions, and intervening recesses when they consider the business before the count and write opinions. Sittings and recesses alternate at approximately 2 weeks intervals. With rare exceptions, each side is allowed 30 minutes arguments, and up to 24 cases may be argued at one sitting.
There are 3 branches of government: the legislative, executive, and judicial branch. The judicial branch includes criminal and civil courts and helps interpret the U.S. Constitution. For example, if the federal government was like a basketball game, the judicial branch is like the referee that helps settle disputes. The executive branch and the legislative branch are like the players in the game trying to score points against each other. And the judicial branch is there to clarify the rules and make sure each side is acting fairly. The judicial branch is able to do this through its special power known as judicial review, and as part of the process of checks and balances between the 3 branches of government. There are a couple limitations on the judicial branch. They cannot enforce laws, and they have to rule based upon the Constitution of the ruling, or their ruling doesn't matter.
The checks of judicial branch of the other branches of government. Judicial branch checks on the legislature. Judicial power seats are held on good behavior. Compensation cannot be dismissed. The executive branch can veto law, thus making it harder for the legislative branch to pass a law. The judicial branch may also say that the law is unconstitutional and thus make it not a law. The legislative branch can also remove a president or judge that is not doing his or her job properly. Marbury versus Madison, the court case that happened in the early history that allowed the judicial branch to the power of the judicial review, gives the ability to look at the law to determine if it's not constitutional.